You ready?
Okay.
Welcome to SemiWoke.
Welcome to SemiWoke. I am Sheria Mattis.
I'm Pranav Bihari. This is a podcast where Sheria brainwashes me with one woke concept a week in an effort to turn me gay.
No. So
Okay.
no longer is it to turn you gay. It's now you must die and be reborn as the twinge in Duran Bernard's asshole when he hits a high note.
Okay.
That's what
Okay.
that's
Like 9 different words I didn't understand in one
you
sentence.
don't know Duran Bernard?
Okay, let's go.
Did
I
you
don't know why I'm
smoke
acting
today?
surprised.
Have you yet put something in your stomach? Did you? He did a Tiny Desk recently that went like super viral because he is so talented and
Okay.
dressed up as Uncle Bobby from the Proud Family.
Okay.
Remember the Proud Family? Do you ever watch the Proud Family?
I never watch it, but I know it.
And yeah, and they had that uncle who was a singer,
Okay.
and he was doing that and hitting these amazing high notes. He did mango butter.
So I'm going to come back as this guy's butthole.
No. The twinge in his rectum when he hits those extremely high.
Twinge?
Just the
Oh,
when
the
he's-
puckering.
the little pucker.
Oh,
The,
okay.
like, the little you have to manifest into the actual action. Like you only come to life when that happens.
I think that's wonderful how one mouth controls what's coming out of the other mouth.
True.
You know? It's kind of poetic.
It actually is. That isn't that part of it. That is a
Yeah.
big part of it, or at least that's what my voice.
Buttholes really the sphincters are like the unsung hero of the body, you know?
That's a topic.
Look, all day they're doing the work to just not let you shit your pants.
Yes, which is like super important. It's like
Yeah.
social interaction.
Our buttholes, our sphincters are all fucking ripped,
Yes.
is the thing.
Yes. I'm completely out of shape, but my asshole could lift.
Exactly.
My asshole could do so many curls.
My butthole be deadlifting
Like,
out here.
truly, my butthole
Yeah.
is my strongest.
All of her
area.
buttholes do CrossFit.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
All our
It's
buttholes.
constant, non-stop, just fucking dragging a tractor trailer with its teeth.
That's
everywhere it
why
goes.
people who do CrossFit are such assholes.
Yeah.
That's
Do you think our buttholes are like thinking to themselves like, oh, Chipotle, I'm gonna break my PR this week, you know?
right.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. We should. I mean, I feel like the butthole worship has started in earnest again since everybody's eating ass now.
Oh, I know. The butthole thing, like, don't get me started on that. To me,
We've talked about eating ass quite a lot.
yeah, it's a sign of the apocalypse. For
You
sure.
think eating ass is a sign of the apocalypse?
You know, I put this on a very metaphorical level, though. You know, before it's like, okay, the mouth, you know, but the butthole is very distinctly the site of decay and death. Okay, that's where you expel waste from.
Yes.
Right, and which is a vital part of life in general.
Yes.
Right, as a process, but it is the site of death. I call it the death box, the butthole. That's always I used to say that on
Jesus.
stage, and people just go with it because it sounds funny. It is the death box, and so now we're worshiping the death box. You know,
Okay. I don't know where that went. I feel like Freud kind of pointed out that yes, the butthole is decay and blah blah blah, but it's also like a very vital like sexual.
for sure. There's nerve endings.
But-
It's an unsung hero.
But also, like, it's vital to the, like, it's like a part of the psychology of sexuality
Mhm.
theory that
Yeah.
Freud came up with while he was high off cocaine.
Right.
So-
Yeah. Listen, I love buttholes, so don't get me wrong about
I
that.
was about-
I'm all for
The
it.
death box, calling it the death box.
That's a compliment.
Is
Well, you know, let's just say it is. Listen, nothing more that as a straight dude that I like than being back there and pounding, and the butthole just gives you a little wink, you know? It's nice. It's friendly. It's like, hey, pal, I'm here for you. Yeah.
I love that song. It's not a good song, but I'm out of town, thinking out of town. My pussy pink, my booty hole brown. I'm gonna think of you every time I do that.
This is SemiWoke.
Yes, this is
the first queer and straight collaboration since what?
this is the first queer and straight collaboration since Bert and Ernie, and I won't tell you which one is the gay one.
Fair. That's for you to decide. And that tells you a lot about you.
That's right.
Okay. That's a Rorschach for you.
That's right. That's I think it's a good intro into our topic today.
What are you teaching me about today? What are you brainwashing?
So I'm going to attempt to teach you about the theory of compulsory heterosexuality.
Okay. What is that?
So compulsory heterosexuality is
I gotta get the puss. That's what it sounds
that's
like
what
to
it is.
me.
It's like you can't. You just have to. No.
I got to have it.
No. It's compulsory, not compulsive.
Okay.
Compulsory.
Compulsory is like you must.
Yes, you must
Fuck
get
the
pussy.
puss.
It is, it's actually okay, so it is Adrienne Rich's theory. Adrienne Rich is a poet and a feminist icon. R.I.P. to a real nigga.
Okay.
She was not a real nigga. She was a white lady, but she was. She deep down, she was a real nigga. Like, in the like 90s, you might remember this.
She's
like,
like,
around in the 90s.
I got my PhD at Princeton, and I got my N-word pass from Sheria University.
She probably got her N-word pass from Alice Walker. If there's anyone who's giving out N-word passes, it's probably Alice Walker. She was like I think like Bill Clinton tried to give her like an award or whatever, and she refused it because
he's a rapist.
He's a rapist. And people were like, like she was about her shit. She was real. And then they tried to give her another prize, and she wouldn't accept it. She only accepted it if Alice Walker and Audre Lorde were also highlighted, which is one of those like great like white lady.
And were they?
Shit. Yes, she forced them to recognize two black
good for her
feminists. Like, yes, because she was a real one. Anyway, so she was mostly known as a poet, but she also is very known for this 1980 essay called Compulsory Heterosexuality, Lesbianism in a Thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's the actual article called? Compulsory Heterosexuality and Lesbian Existence. And so this pertains primarily to women and primarily to women's sexuality, right? But
okay.
It's also, it's a theory that incorporates like very much like economic structures, social structures, and it kind of posits heterosexuality itself as not a cult, that's my word, but as a societal standard more than it is a traditional sexuality that like is really about.
So
right?
Meaning in the public space, heterosexuality is deemed the dominant.
It's not just that it's dominant, it's that it's required.
It's required.
It is required. It is like, because there's like a certain type of societal, and I just want to reiterate, no research has gone into this.
So that's the way we roll. Yeah.
So like, I read it a really long time ago, and I was going to reread it, but I did something else.
Yeah.
So like, basically, the demand of heterosexuality is like, it's programmed into people to the point where it denies women's sexuality, period.
Right.
And it denies men's sexuality as well.
Oh, wait. So is this like the kind of phenomenon where, is this the reason why, for instance, let's say in like the 50s or something, a woman who may have been a lesbian would just be like, actually, no, I want to just keep to myself and my whatever. I'm taking up origami, and that's my life's pursuit, because she wasn't allowed to. It was outside the realm of possibility for her to dive off.
Yes, of course. Yes. And not only dive off, but to have like actual open partnerships with women,
right.
But also why a lot of lesbians married men. Because you literally could not survive without a husband.
You know what's so interesting about this? I'm reading a book right now. It's about the formation of the CIA and the secret government. It's called The Devil's Chessboard.
They
100%. And they were talking about Alan Dulles. He's the founder of it, and his son, the most evil dude ever. Actually, so responsible for why I say these countries in the state it's in.
Really,
but
hell right now.
They were talking about his son. He was a brilliant, like super genius kid, really sensitive, kind, took after his mother a lot. And they were like, there was like speculations that this guy's gay.
Yep.
But then his mom, when they were like, oh, wait, I don't know about that. He was known to have an interest in a woman. And by the way, at that time, nobody came out as anything back then.
Yes, it's true.
That reminds me a little bit of what you're talking about.
So let's actually get into it. This is somewhat of a turn, but heterosexuality as a term was created very recently. It's like a term that was created like 100 years ago by this like Austrian dude. Shit.
Sounds like something a gay dude would say. No, I'm just kidding.
But that ass. But wait. So
heterosexuality.
Wait, but that ass. Like, that's what happened. So he was defending his friend who was just like put on trial for homosexual acts or whatever. And he wrote an essay to this other lawyer, also German.
Who was his friend? OJ? No, I'm just kidding.
OJ.
For homosexual. You said heterosexual acts.
No, if that was the case, there'd be a lot of people on trial.
Yeah.
Like most people would be on
OJ
trial.
would be the first.
OJ would be the first?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're kind of repeating what Adrienne Rich is saying, is that heterosexuality is often defined by male violence towards women.
Look, I'm not denying that.
Yes, okay.
I'm not denying
Yes, see, that's what she's saying. You want her, see, she literally in heaven right now, like, that's the shit I was saying over there.
She's like, that's my N-word to me.
That's what she said.
He's like, that's my N-word right
She gets
there.
a heavenly celestial N-word pass. Thank you, Adrian. That's my nigga. So like this term was invented to explain what at the time it wasn't homosexual, it was monosexual is what he called it.
Oh.
Yes. And even bisexuality he was describing with a different term that I can't remember. I should Google this shit. But anyway, he
monosexual is hilarious.
I love monosexual.
Yeah.
but he was explaining he invented the term heterosexuality to literally
that guy's a fucking mono.
the very why didn't we pick that? Why did we do homo instead of mono? Mono's great.
Mono.
That's great. I love that.
Monos out here.
That's right. That's usually like, isn't it like a music term?
Maybe, yeah.
Right.
And also mononucleosis of the disease. And you get
mono. You get mono. That's right.
disease.
From kissing. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they did.
Sorry, we digress.
We digress. Anyway, that term heterosexuality was just kind of like invented because there was no belief in sexual variance, really.
Right.
Like even though sexual variance and sexuality, different sexual orientations have existed literally since time immemorial, it wasn't like you weren't defined by your sexuality. You were defined by your societal position, and that was determined by the institution of marriage. Like you literally you couldn't have a credit card if you were a woman. You couldn't own land if you were a woman. You couldn't have your own money. You couldn't move through a capitalist society without the protection of marriage,
right?
Which also came with your own subjugation and with your own desire to not desire, but like you are having to give up all of your freedom in exchange for protection and the ability to move.
Right. And restrictions on divorce were also pretty stringent.
Hell yeah.
Like for a time, it was like you had to be adultery. That was a reason. That was like a primary reason. And that's why in like throughout the first half, private eyes were such a huge booming business because they were always there setting up dudes to cheat so that the woman could get a divorce.
Yes. And that's also why a bunch of women killed their fucking husbands.
True.
Because there was
it's the original divorce.
That's the original divorce because you
death about to do us part, motherfucker.
And it wasn't even before they made that one fault that you could leave your husband if he cheated on you. Before that, you couldn't leave him for shit.
Right.
He could beat you around. He could have 10 other girlfriends, but you couldn't leave. You know what I mean? And you know who really misses that shit? Stephen fucking Crowder.
Who is he? Oh, is he that guy who is he
yelling at his pregnant wife? Yeah.
Like what?
He's one of this PragerU dudes, the like angry white man who've made a huge career of being an angry white man about traditional values.
I like vaguely remember this guy.
Recently, he was like, my wife shouldn't be allowed to leave. And she left.
Oh, she left him?
She left him.
That's awesome.
And then a couple days ago, actually, they released, or maybe it was yesterday, they released a video. They found a Ring video and she leaked it. Of him just absolutely berating her and refusing to let her leave the house in the car. They only have one car.
What?
Yeah.
So he's got his own like personal Saudi Arabia that he lives in.
Let's not blame Saudi Arabia.
Well, I'm just saying
for this white model crazy shit.
In terms of the model, like, but
that's a very Western patriarchal model.
Well, it's like very biblical, right? It's very rooted in like.
Don't blame the Bible. This is honestly, we blame all these other things, which really, and I'm going to say it, it's capitalism. It is capitalism that causes that because it makes men view women as possessions, and because they literally are. You bought her. You bought her. You paid for her dowry. She's dependent on you for living. Of course, is like women. This essay came out.
I don't know. I mean, patriarchy precedes capitalism, though, historically.
Okay, so patriarchy is one separate thing from capitalism, but capitalism is what makes patriarchy continue to progress.
I think capitalism. You could say that capitalism is a patriarchal system, right?
Yeah.
You could say that
it's a system that uses patriarchy to keep its wheels going.
Possibly, but now we're also seeing, right, like capitalism doesn't give a fuck in a sense. That's why this whole thing of leaning in and da-da-da is coming from.
It's just capitalism.
It's just capitalism.
It's just girly-fied capitalism.
Yes.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with, it's still just capitalism. It's just capitalism taking feminism and using it just as it used patriarchy.
Yes.
Yeah. No. These things can exist outside of it, but ultimately they become the machinery of capitalism.
Yeah.
And that's also what she says, like, like if you have to depend on marriage, if you're a woman and you have to depend on marriage to function in society,
right,
you are now being forced to be
a heterosexual
person.
Right.
Not only that, you are forced to to strive for the ideals of femininity, right? Under this heterosexual structure.
This is where another queer classic of cinema, I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, seems to be indicative of this. Am I wrong? That is about that, right? Where it's it's not
compulsory homosexuality.
It's compulsory homosexuality.
That's right.
What it is.
That's right. That's that, which is so hilarious, and which is what I will institute as dictator.
I mean, that's now it's just marriage.
That's right. Actually, you know what? I just watched a video. Shit, what the homegirl name? This girl, very bitchy, I think is her name. She does like a YouTube video. She's very famous on YouTube. I'm sorry if I fucked her name up. Anyway, she does this video about the Comp-Het thing. So compulsory heterosexuality is the Audrey and Rich essay and its offshoots.
Mm-hmm. And
Comp-Het is a 31-page Tumblr thread, which I don't mean to which is kind of like very much takes like some seeds of Audrey and Rich's ideas, but then kind of goes off into this other thing about how really there is no, it's, to me, it seems like, and I didn't read the full thing, so don't fucking, but
like, you're gonna get dragged for not reading a whole Tumblr. She didn't cite properly the Tumblr.
So actually the homegirl got so much shit off that video about the Comp-Het Tumblr thread, because a lot of young queer people kind of found their identity through the prescriptions of the Comp-Het Tumblr thread, right? Like they were trying to because basically it's like, are you a lesbian? It's called Am I a Lesbian, right? Am I a lesbian? Ooh. And it's like, it's like, are you a lesbian, or do you think you're bisexual, or are you not accepting your lesbian identity because you are afraid to exist in the world outside of the fucking dominating paradigm of heterosexuality. Right. And heterosexuality doesn't necessarily just mean, it has nothing to do really with your own sexual desires. Mm-hmm. You almost like pretend that you enjoy sex with men as a woman, even if you don't enjoy it, because that's what you were told. You were kind of programmed by media and by like literature.
So meaning it's so internalized that you believe it's alienated you so much from yourself.
Yes.
That you actually are, you've drank the Kool-Aid. You're in the sunken place of straightness.
You've confused your own desires for kind of trying to match the desires of the world around you. Right. Which I think there is some truth to that. As much as I make fun of that Tumblr thread, it's very interesting. I don't think it's necessarily as simple as that. I think it's a bit simplified. I think Audrey Rich's essay is way more complex. Like, okay, let me read a little thing. I want to read a little thing from her shit.
Yeah, let's bring down the vibe.
That's right. Let's fucking fuck you. Let's bum everybody out. Shit. Let me see. Okay, so whatever, she's talking about Barbara Ehrenreich and Deirdre English's thing about blah 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 books and everything about like how to be a good American woman, but like they're Barbara Ehrenreich shout outs. So the thesis in this book is that the advice given American women by male health professionals, particularly in the areas of marital sex, maternity, and childcare, has echoed the dictates of the economic marketplace and the role capitalism has needed women to play in production and or reproduction. Women have become the consumer victims of various cures, therapies, and normative judgments in different periods, including the prescription to middle class, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you see what I'm saying. So like she's saying like the kind of we're told from time immemorial
Mhm.
how to be the feminine ideal, and that is the thing that you should strive for.
Right.
And part of that is not only to be desired by men, but to be the kind of woman that can support men in their, you know, their own compulsory heterosexuality duties.
Okay.
Like being like the masculine, the dominant, the violent.
Okay, so question. Couldn't you say, and how, and not couldn't you say, because I'm not making a contention. I'm asking really, like, aren't those dynamics, like, how do you as a queer person feel that those dynamics are then kind of replicated in many ways within the lesbian community, right? You have a binary there of femme. You like, what's the kind of person you like?
I like masked people. I like studs. I
Studs.
Yeah.
Are you saying you're broke? If you talk about studs, you get real broke. I like a real stud. Studs. Trying to get fingered by a fucking stud dyke. I forget all the other words that you use.
Hike, right? There was to call them hikes.
Like you're really into studs who look like roughneck dudes, like traditionally.
So
right?
I like masculine leaning people, and for a long time I was ashamed of what I liked because I thought, well, aren't you? And a lot of people say that if you like studs, you're not really gay. Like,
ooh,
yes, that's like a huge. I've heard studs say that. I've heard studs say that if you're attracted to me, you're not really gay, and it's like. I mean,
so wait, what are they hoping for then? Are they hoping for another stud to pull up on them?
But I don't know. I think that that belief is very much rooted in. Okay, people are gonna again come for me, but I think that's rooted in compulsory heterosexuality because you believe that by presenting masculine, you are erasing all of your woman. Even if you identify as a woman, a lot of studs can't think outside of the binary of gender expression. So they think I'm presenting masculine.
Wait, are you saying studs are the dumb jocks of the lesbian community? Is that what you're saying? Studs, did you guys hear that? Boycott this pussy right here.
No, please. No, please.
This pussy's canceled.
No.
Of course, a stud wouldn't say it. Yo, that pussy's canceled.
That's right. That's how a stud would say it. No. I didn't say that, but I also did not say that.
You're basically calling them a bunch of knuckle draggers.
No.
What you're...
I think a lot of studs are like, I think because a lot of studs came out of they learn about masculinity from men a lot of the times. I think it's becoming less so as the generations go on and on. As you get older, I feel like studs as they get older, or as studs get younger. That's what I mean. The younger studs are kind of seeing themselves outside of that dynamic. They're able to like formulate their identity outside of whatever hood niggas they meet in the street that let them hang out. You know, usually with studs, back in my day, it was one stud hanging out with a bunch of dudes, and then every once in a while, all the studs would get together and fight. But,
okay, interesting.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of solidarity. It's stuff. That's what we're seeing now is a lot of solidarity amongst mass presenting women. But like. The idea that you could be attracted to masculinity outside of men, I don't think masculinity is inextricably linked to men. I think it isn't the sole purview of men at all.
Spicy take. I very much within the discourse right now.
And I'm sorry, and I think that a lot of masc people who don't identify as men do masculinity way better. Because they're, and Audrey Rich says this in the article.
Based on such traditional ideas, though.
Based on these traditional ideas of masculinity that have existed for millennia, for fucking time immemorial outside of just the binary of biological males.
Paint me a picture of your ideal stud that you would date.
So my ideal stud is someone who probably, you know, and now these are kind of newer studs, I guess. Like back
you're into like roughneck stud types, and then you're also into like the nerdy Where's Waldo looking.
My perfect partner is a mix of those two things. I want like a soft boy, educated stud with, and I'm sorry, I'm just gonna be crude here. I like fat titties. I like a fat ass. I like fat thighs. I want a body that is maybe typically womanly. I know that's problematic to say, but I want that bow. Like I want that. I like that.
Like a neck tattoo, some cornrows, and a wife beater.
Need a neck tattoo or any of that, but I like a masculine presenting style. I like a masculine presenting like whatever, but somebody who can also like, paint their nails and put on a little makeup if they want, and like can feel free to exist outside of that binary. I love that.
Sounds to me like you're inventing a whole new sexuality right now based on this chimeric being.
No.
It's like, I need a stud with big titties, a fat ass, and some painted nails.
Have you not seen that? That person exists all over the place. They're usually married. Somebody has already snagged that bitch. They're not single, but they exist. Like, they are, you know what I mean? That's kind of what a lot of people
Actually, you're
like.
kind of describing Young Thug.
Ew. No.
Okay, well, I'm just
Young
saying.
Thug ain't got titties or an
That's
ass.
true.
And he's ugly. I also like a pretty face. I'm sorry. I want a pretty face. Give me a pretty face.
Okay.
Like, I kind of like people who play of any gender. I like people of any gender who play with that binary and their presentation and whatever. And I think that is something that exists. Barbara Ehrenreich, not her. Audrey Rich even talks about how people of marginalized sexual orientations and identities, they have way more imagination when it comes to how to structure a relationship, right? Mm-hmm. That's why people in queer communities and queer spaces have like family, like they family outside of just like
genetic bonds.
Not just genetic bonds, yes, genetic bonds, but also outside of like a 2-parent household, which is a very individualistic American capitalist version of what relationships are.
The quote nuclear family.
The nuclear family. Thank you. I was not. I be smoking some weed.
It's okay.
So like, and like she talks about how like queer relationships often are really formed around your sexuality. So like you'll have a relationship that might be more focused on how to uplift your community. And you'll have queer people who have different people in their household, a bunch of different people in their household. You might have a queer family that's based on mutual respect. And instead of being like, you're the masculine one, so you take out the trash, I'm the feminine one, so I do this, even though that happens, people are somehow have heterosexual dynamics in their relationships. But I would say that for the most part, queer people are able to conceive of a relationship that is egalitarian, that helps each other out outside of the roles, the binary roles that were like kind of dictated upon the entire society. Which requires imagination or requires a rethinking, which is why people hate queer people.
So rethinking social organization entirely, right? And then rethinking the concept of the family. But is the concept of the family itself, can it still remain a primary kind of modus operandi of the queer community?
But the family
straight people have a whole thing about what the not just what a family is, but just that the family is the primary vital unit of any society.
Yep.
And so would you say that queer people also believe that?
I would not say.
And then maybe I should. Maybe that's a bad question.
No. Right? But I think But I think it's a fair understanding, because
I'm just curious.
No.
Right?
And like, let's go back to the essay. She be saying shit like that. She was talking about shit like that. She was like, Audrey Rich was like so much of, especially like evolutionary science kind of, we equate that to like a moral thing, right? Because it requires two people of an opposite sex to get together and create and to reproduce. Then that must be the apex of morality, and that must be how we structure society. That one relationship should be the basis of all society. And queerness goes kind of against that.
It supports that.
So yes, the family is everything, but the family isn't just the two people who are in a relationship. The family is the community. The family is we support one another through mutual aid in the most like basic way possible. We all live together. We create our own families, and they're not based on the things that heterosexuality demands it be based on. It's based on like genuine love and respect, first and foremost.
Interesting. Interesting. I'm curious about that in terms of like social organization, though, right? Like what is the, as you mentioned, like reproduction is the basis of like heterosexual social organization. So what is the basis of that? And what you're talking about is something like very radical, and then could be construed in some sense as an anti-capitalist, maybe. That's fascinating to me.
Which is, I think, personally, I'm going to take it a step further. I don't know if she really explicitly says this, but I'm going to take it a step further. The reason why people hate, especially traditionalists and conservatives, hate queer people is because they imagine a world outside of that.
Right.
right? Because that they imagine a world that ultimately challenges capitalism.
Mm.
Like, because if you support each other not based on who you're related to or who you are married to, if you support each other based on who you love and respect and want to thrive in the world and who gives you that love and respect as well, then that's basically communism.
No, it is. I mean, it's like it has tinges of communism,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Or what we perceive culturally as communism.
Yes, if you were valued, if I value you just because you exist and because I love you, if I value you because I love
could you consider a family would be like, let's say, like a bunch of studs together who all work as welders because it's also a trade union.
I think
studs.
that is not only a beautiful family but a great pilot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is what this was the conception of identity politics originally, right? When it was first conceived by the like Combahee Collective or whatever.
Yes,
right?
the Combahee
River Collective. That was like black lesbians who were like, wait, how do we fit into the anti-capitalist mold, etc. Right. And then they kind of envisioned something similar to what we're talking about.
Yes, and I'm sorry, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this because honestly,
we would never want you to be remiss.
I know I fucked up so much on this podcast.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have what I called Camille Paglia, who was actually...
You called her somebody else.
Yeah.
You were very upset about
I was really mad. I've done it a bunch of times. I confused Iggy Azalea with Azalea Banks.
That was the most offensive thing you've possibly ever done.
I know.
The least woke thing you've ever uttered.
100%.
That is wild. That's like confusing Martin for fucking David Duke. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's at that level of Iggy Azalea and Azalea Banks. That is.
I don't think it's so Azalea Banks.
I'm the quote. Hold on. I am the quote problematic one in this duo, but that's way more problematic than anything I've ever even thought.
You're absolutely right. You can misgender people all you want, but I can't miss.
I might fuck up a they here and there,
right. But you're not gonna. Yo, you're right. You're absolutely right. Although, fuck Azalea Banks.
I mean, we can get into that, I guess.
You're not allowed to say that, but you are allowed to feel it.
I've always enjoyed her.
She's beautiful and lovely, but she destroyed her career for no reason just by being crazy. She needs mental health help. I've written like a synopsis of a pilot based on her.
Oh, wow.
To read it sometimes. Okay. So some of the criticism of Audrey Enrich's essay is that it doesn't explore, because of course the heterosexuality as it's defined for white people and for people of a different class is totally different. Heterosexuality is defined differently by what class you're in and what race you are in.
Right.
So they were yearning for some sort of intersectionality. So there has been some updates that I probably only read a very small portion of in my classes because nobody cares. So they've made some things like okay, hold on. No More Secrets, No More Lies, African American History and Compulsory Heterosexuality by Maddie Eudora Richardson, which I have not read. But anyway, she's like, any divergences from the social norms of marriage, domesticity, and the nuclear family have brought serious accusations of savagery, pathology, and deviance upon Black people. This is so fucking
and
on point.
Have you ever read Sylvia Federici?
No.
You would love her. She's an anti-capitalist feminist writer. You should check her out.
And it's called Witchcraft?
She writes a lot about that. Actually, that's the one book of hers I haven't read, but it's about women, witches, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've only read one book of hers, a collection of
The only thing that I've read really, and it's so unfortunate because I kind of stopped reading it after a while, but the only thing I've read that really kind of touches on this is Sami, A New Spelling of My Name, the Audre Lorde book that explores her, like, you know, that's where the Afriquete thing comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the only thing. So I'm gonna check that out about like Black lesbianism and Black deviance or whatever, but sexual deviance as it's perceived in the Black community.
Right.
But she says that like Black people, a group that are already stigmatized in multiple ways, Black women face additional pressures from both the Black and white communities toward heteronormativity. Divergences from heterosexuality place Black women in particular risk of physical harm or social exile. And that is like 100%. I think that's why I kind of tried to be straight for a little while.
Right.
Like I genuinely believed, because of the response that I was getting, not necessarily from my mother, because she started to come around after a while, but from like everyone else. Like, if you say that you're a lesbian, especially back then, if you were saying you were a lesbian in a lot of these Black spaces, people denied you straight out.
Oh, well,
they just told you
it's a
weren't.
fascinating thing. Like it's really funny because a good friend of mine is black, and a woman, and
Do you have
she's-
other black women
I'm
friends?
sorry.
How dare you?
And they have engaged, or she's engaged in lesbian activities or whatever. Like she's like bisexual, but she would never call herself that, and she denies it at all. She's like, I'm not a lesbian. She's like, I did have a threesome recently with a woman, and da 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 da, and she's like into it, but she absolutely rejects any kind of queer identity whatsoever.
People get so, especially queer people who are like, I'm gold star, meh. They get so mad at people like that. But I totally understand when you walk through the streets with a girlfriend, especially walking through the streets with a masculine girlfriend, people fucking try you.
Yeah.
They try you, especially as a black woman, because everything you do as a black woman will be questioned and commented on. But when you're walking through the streets as a black lesbian, it makes you so uncomfortable. Like I used to, for a long period of my life, I was having boyfriends and then cheating on them with girls. Like a lot of time.
With their mom.
Yes. Oh my God. That was like my looming threat. Even when my 6th grade boyfriend, I used to tell him I was going to fuck his mom. She was so hot. She had like buzz cut hair.
She was a stud.
She was not a stud. She was just a white lady with very short hair and a bit of a mustache.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a fucking stud.
I
to
think
me.
so too.
Okay.
I think so too.
She said short hair and a mustache and a neck tattoo.
I wonder if the compulsory heterosexuality got to her as well. I do wonder, but I used to tell him all the time that I was going to finger his mom. I was in the 6th grade. And I would never have said I was
like
gay.
a prodigy.
I never would have said I was gay.
Yeah.
Like I used to masturbate to a bunch of different girls. I loved to brat, but I would have never said I was gay. And when I finally did say I was gay, it was a problem. Then I kind of like by college, when I found myself attracted to a man, I was like, well, let's just do this. Let's just really like commit to this. And I still couldn't.
Right. You're like, he really reminds me of
dead ass.
You know.
My first boyfriend was a buzz-cutted, fat-tittied composer.
Wait,
loved
what's
to
the
cook.
rapper's name? Young Ma.
Oh, Young
Like,
M.A.
He's
Bless
cute.
Young
He reminds me of
M.A..
Young M.A.
Literally, yes. Wait, yes.
That's like the vibe, right?
Yes.
So it is like a vibe. What's interesting, though, is like, okay, well, what is the origin of mask, right? That's like...
It's a vibe, like you said.
Yeah, it's a vibe, but it's a vibe. Yes, now it is. But what is the origin of it? Is
It's
that it
always
is
been a
with
vibe.
men.
But it's also within women. There have always
Definitely.
There have always been masculine women. There have always been feminine men. There have always been people who identify outside of that binary. Always, always, always. Since time immemorial, there are literal... As much as they tried to burn that history, there's still so much evidence of that in societies and cultures,
For sure.
specifically indigenous societies and cultures. So that masculinity is not the sole purview of men. Neither is femininity the sole purview of women. And I think once you start on that path, that's how they get you with the woke mind virus. And that's what they're trying to teach our kids. Yeah. Like it's time for us to like, I think like things like looking at issues of compulsory heterosexuality and like actually studying this thing, like studying critical theory, like they're trying to get us to stop doing. That is something that will lead us to imagine a world outside of the extremely like
The world we live in.
shackled world that we live. We really cannot. A lot of people cannot envision a world outside of the way that it's set up. They will admit that it's fucked up. They will admit that it's wrong and still be like, well, there's just no other way. And it's time for us to look at culture as something that can be moved.
Right. Well, we brought this metaphor before of just a fish out of water, a fish imagining life outside of water.
Yes. Or like, like a fish meeting a diver and being like, take that shit off. And the diver being like, I can't. And the fish is like, you're a fucking pussy. I can do it. I see you down here. That's literally what it is.
You need to get top surgery, which is actually gills.
All right, now we're moving it around. Now we're confused with the metaphor.
You got bottom surgery. It's a dorsal fin.
That's right. Bottom surgery is just not getting the bends.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was very fascinating.
It was it was like a kindergartner's explanation.
No, but to a kindergartner.
It's good. Yes, exactly.
What would a straight flag look like?
Ugh.
An American flag.
An American flag, a Nazi flag. Also the word straight, like all these words were created to
That's
like
a compulsory.
defend
Yeah.
queer rights. It's so funny. The word heterosexuality was literally made to defend queer rights. Straight is a word created by gay people to initially was supposed to describe queer people who went back in the closet.
Wait, repeat that?
Yeah, so gay people in like the 1910s, 1920s, something like that, when gay people like would leave gay culture and go get married, they called them straight.
Oh,
They've gone straight.
Yeah.
Right? And then that became just the word for being heterosexual.
Yeah.
But actually straight originated as a term in queer communities for people who recloseted themselves.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's right. Y'all owe a lot to us.
I mean,
Y'all owe your whole identity to
you had to formulate our identity to formulate your own, in a sense.
Not to formulate our own identity, but definitely to defend it.
Well, to identify.
Put a name. Yes.
To
okay,
get,
you're right.
To get it,
Okay, you're right. We have to put it. Yes, you're right. But actually, I don't really believe
But that is a function of what you're telling me about compulsory heterosexuality.
Yes.
Before it was like we didn't need a name for it because it's only just this one thing.
And the word straight was literally born out of a need to define compulsory heterosexuality.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
This is why we need more podcasts.
I mean, this is literally what our podcast does.
That's right. This is bringing people together.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're here to brainwash me.
That's right. I'm fucking you with the strap of intellectualism. I'm fucking you with the strap of queer thing.
Oh, God.
It's good
Help
at your
me.
pussy.
That looks so dumb. Should we go on to our new segment?
Yes. Which segment should we do first? This one?
This is our new segment.
What about the other one?
We're doing it next one.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, one segment per app.
Okay,
that's all these.
fair.
That's all these pigs get.
Yeah, fuck them. Okay, let's do it.
We have a new segment. Okay, and this is based on Sheria's desire to reduce everything to capitalism.
That's right.
A
Not
noble
desire. Skill.
Actually, truly skill.
Yes.
And I love it, and it's fun. So we decided let's make this a segment. We're calling it Blame Capitalism.
Yes, blame capitalism.
Blame it on the capitalism. We are going to get that fully produced as a theme song for this segment, but for now, I'm just going to have to acapella that shit. Let's do it together. Blame it on the capitalism with Sheria and Pranav. Sheria, I'm going to set a timer. First of all, you're going to pick a topic.
Oh, that's right.
I'm going to give you 30 seconds to connect the dots, and then you got to go. So
Shit.
get the timer set up.
Okay. Wait, first you got to pick a topic.
I'm going to.
Okay,
I'm going to. You get 30 seconds. Okay. Now, pick out of the pink hats, my pink beanie, gifted to me by my niece, Kenna. I'm shaking it up.
Oh, shout out to Kenna.
Yeah, wonderful.
I love Kenna.
She's so beautiful. She is. She's inside and out. Okay. Go ahead. Close your eyes. Dig around.
Oh my God. What's in here? Why are they all wet? Okay.
Topic is... What is it?
Yes. Jussie Smollett.
Jussie Smollett. My favorite. Timer starts now. You have 30 seconds to think. Ding,
okay.
Ding, ding. I don't know if that song's licensed or something.
The Jeopardy song?
Blame it on the cat.
Yes. I think I got it.
You got it?
I think I got it.
Wow.
All
Okay,
right.
here we go. Doing Jussie Smollett. Blame it on capitalism. Go, Sheria.
Okay, so this is how I can blame Jussie Smollett's particular downfall on capitalism. First of all, Jussie Smollett comes from a family of child actors. Jussie Smollett himself was a child actor. Yes, they had a TV show with him, Journey, and a couple of other light-skinned babies, and they were all in a house and blah 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 blah. It was a sitcom, whatever. It was not very long, but then he experienced a long drought in his career, due in part to, well, first of all, here's how I can blame capitalism. One, he was forced to work as a child for his family.
Child labor.
Ding, an invention of capitalism. Capitalism's favorite baby. Boom. Number two, he was out of work for a long time, due in great part to prejudice against queer or people who were perceived as queer, especially black men who were perceived as queer. That is a function of capitalism. Ding.
Alienation. Ding.
Ding.
Yep.
And then for him to do the thing that he did, let's be real, he did it. He did it because Empire was not doing him service on the show. And he wanted to, get more storylines and knew that if he made himself a national public figure and as a defender of queer rights he was calling himself the Black Eminem and all this stuff.
Yeah, the gay Tupac.
The gay Tupac. I'm sorry, the gay Tupac.
The Black Eminem is hilarious. That is the fucking funniest phrase of all time.
Right, no. That's right. Same difference. The only reason why he orchestrated this terrible plan was so that he could survive and thrive under capitalism. Ding. And the only reason these two brothers pretended to be MAGA people who scream MAGA nigga, empire nigga, because
no, empire F word.
Empire F word. That's right, because all MAGA people loved empire.
Yeah.
Like they hate black people, but God damn it, if they didn't love Cookie. Okay.
Right.
The only reason why these two poor black dudes did this was for money. They took the money to orchestrate this stupid fucking plan.
Well, who wouldn't see like a total narcissist though and be like, can you just beat me up for money? And be like, sure, I'll take that. Some like little careerist turd who's just like, I need more. They're going to fire me off of Empire unless I stage a hate crime.
Like, and it's like, what? Like, that is a crazy, come out with a single. Right. Introduce that as a fucking plot line on the show. What is your problem, Jesse? And he's actually extremely talented. Psychopath.
Except at writing. He's not a good writer at all.
No, he's a good writer. He's just not good at executing plans. And that's the same thing.
He is not a good writer.
What? That's such a good idea.
Here's the plot line for a hate crime. I'm in downtown Chicago. Boom. Worst immediately.
Wait, not even. He's in downtown Chicago at 3 a.m. by himself to get a sandwich from CBS. Okay, listen.
And then him walking home with a noose around his neck. It's like, this is a Looney Tunes. It's like a that's something out of Looney Tunes.
That's not
where you just walk around.
I feel like you're being really unfair.
It's not. I reveled in the Jussie thing. It was so fucking funny to me.
Funny. It was ridiculous to me. But I think you're not giving him enough credit because he needed a director. Mm-hmm. Okay, he had a good idea. To stage a hate crime. I think this is a solid idea. Republicans do it all the time. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a good idea. He couldn't pin down the details and he wasn't good at execution. And I think if he had pitched that as a storyline to Empire, the writer's room would have been able to turn that into something that made some sense.
Yeah, just not in Chicago. Okay. I mean, come on.
He definitely wouldn't be wearing the noose in the hotel room until the fucking cops came. Girl, ma'am. Did you see the interview with him and Sway? No. It's so funny. He's trying so hard to be like, I would never. Why did I do some shit like that? And you can see the tear in his eye. He's like, why did I do some shit like that?
Okay, so you're connecting the Jussie Smollett cast to
so all of that is a function
his
of
career.
His career, but also the two desperate immigrants who are willing to put their freedom on the line to fake a hate crime with an idiot.
I mean, it's like, look, does this have to do with the surplus value of labor or things like that traditionally associated? Not necessarily, but here's a good way of me for framing it for me and why it is is that this would not happen in a non-capitalist society.
That's 100%.
Like you would never see this happen in Uzbekistan in 1955.
That's right. You notice as many problems as China might have, they have never had a Jussie Smollett. Okay, they don't play that shit.
Oh my God, that was excellent.
All right, this is the first try. We're gonna keep going.
That was great. That was called Blame Capitalism.
That's right.
With Sheria and Pranav. How are you feeling? Connor, where are we at time-wise? Okay.
Right, yeah,
I think we're good.
I think it's time to land this
plane.
Yeah. Please check us out. Please rate us and write us reviews on Apple.
Yeah,
podcasts.
And Spotify, everywhere.
Spotify, you can't do reviews, but give us 5 stars on Spotify. Yeah. Give us reviews on Apple. Mm-hmm. Send us.
Subscribe to us on YouTube.
Subscribe to us
on all platforms.
That's right. SemiWoke.
Yeah. Follow us on IG. At semi_woke_pod. Follow me at Pranahaha. Follow
Sheria Mattis Comedy, SHERIA MATTIS Comedy.
Sure.
And on TikTok, Sheria did that because nobody follows me on TikTok.
I do.
I have 30
it's working. It's a great follow.
I hate the internet. Fucking support us and say what's up and talk to us and talk back.
Yeah, we do. We talk back. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Stay
semi-woke.
Stay semi-woke.